I remember thinking in the moment, no one's going to sing this in church. And I was wrong.
Look at God.
That wasn't like thought through, but it just like happened, and I love that.
And your voice is nuts.
Thank you.
So good.
Gosh, thank you. And I did it in your key too, which is really my key too. Everything I write is in C, the key of C, the Lord's key.
The Lord's key.
Hey guys, I'm Josh Baldwin, and I'm here with my friend
Jessie Early.
We haven't seen each other in a while, so this is kind of we forced them to do this so we could hang out.
Just so we could hang out.
We're gonna hang out and talk about our song,
Made for More.
Made for More.
Yeah.
This is fun too because I don't think we've talked about it
Probably not
like this since
not like this.
Since the moment. I think we did it. We did one writers round.
We did.
Where that was fun because I got to hear you talk about it for the first time.
Fun.
But it's been a couple years now since we wrote this song.
I think we wrote the song two years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a little over 2 years.
A little over 2 years ago. We were at a camp called Church Camp. It's put on by Worship Together in Capitol. And we got put in a room with, it was me and you and Jonathan Smith
and Blake. Who I never. Okay, back up though first because they asked me to come to the church camp and I remember come to church camp because the whole thing was like we're writing songs for the church, writing worship songs, and a bunch of our friends all coming. But I remember it was like kind of in this crazy season or crazy like couple weeks in my life, and I initially said no. Like I was like, I just can't make it work. No. And I think I thought it was like far away from where we live in the Nashville area. And then I remember talking to Carrie and she's like, no, it's close. It's like an hour and a half. Maybe just come in for the day and so I kind of like last minute, like Sheila was like, yeah, you should go, babe. And so, and that I know, me too. We wouldn't be right here talking. I mean, we would still be talking and still be friends, but not right here in this moment talking about the song. So that I'm just glad it happened just because of that. That was pretty special. But then we got put in the room, which
we did. And the other thing that was fun about this camp was it's all tiny houses.
Yeah, that's right. So I forgot about that.
Like everybody goes and we all stay in a tiny house, and all the rights are in these tiny houses. So I feel like the house we were in was like not.
No, that was a big house. That was
big house.
That's bigger. That was bigger than two of my first houses.
I know.
They weren't tiny houses.
Yeah.
But we got me, you, Jonathan, which we've known each other for a long time. I know Jonathan. We've written, but I'd never met Blake, so that was cool. So that was the first time I'd ever been in a room with Blake, and he's just
awesome.
The
best.
He is.
He's the best.
But we sat down that morning. We did the things where you sit down, you get coffee, you hang out.
We're sitting on
you
the
meet
porch.
people you don't like. Like I introduced myself to Blake. We get comfy enough to write.
When we walked into the tiny house, we were all sitting on the porch, and we were kind of just all, hanging and
easing ourselves in.
Yeah,
to the right.
Getting to know each other. What are we going to do today?
Yeah.
And I had this idea in my phone from like months and months before and there was just like one little part of it that I was like, oh, that'd be like so cool to write. And it was just this line, and all it said was, I wasn't made to be tended in a grave. Just that. Literally that. But the idea was like, I think so much of the time it's easy to not live in like the identity that Jesus paid for.
Yeah.
And I had been singing that over myself. That had just really come out of a place of, I had been in a really dark season, very depressed, just a lot going on. And so that grave, like I wasn't made to be tending a grave, was something that I had sung over myself. And that kind of came out of Romans 8. And I had been reading out of there. It's the Message version. And it says, this resurrection life you received from God is not a timid grave tending life. It's adventurously expectant, greeting God with a childlike, what's next? God's Spirit touches our spirit and confirms who we really are. We know who He is, and we know who we are, Father and children. And we know we are going to get what's coming to us, an unbelievable inheritance. Yeah. And I think, for at least something that I had to remind myself was like, Jesus didn't die so that I could manage this thing.
Right, yeah.
Jesus didn't die so that I could manage, so that we could manage our pain. Like, he actually didn't die so that we stayed the same.
Right.
He died to give us resurrection life,
right.
to give us life abundant, that there's actually victory over those things. And so, even just, that was kind of where I had that line come from. And we'd been joking that day. I had driven past this church sign that said like depression support group. And I was like, well, cool. That's the last place I want to go if I'm depressed. I'm like, where's like the life abundant group? And honestly, like, thank God that the church does have resources for, you know what I mean?
Right,
that was such a
totally.
little slam, but thank God there's so many wonderful resources. But I think that the point was really just like, Jesus didn't die for us to manage our pain, to stay there.
I don't want to make a bed here.
Yeah, I don't want to make a bed here. Like, I'm not going to make a bed in this depression. I'm not going to stay in this place. So that, I don't know, this song is special, especially, it's really special to me just because of that place that it came out of, and just being able to like sing my way out of that season too.
And just, the language of that, I'd never heard that, like I wasn't made to be tending a grave in a song. That's like hit us all.
Stole it.
I know, and I love it.
Stole it from the mess.
But it's because you're reading the message too, though. If you hadn't been reading that, you're reading like New King James. I don't know that it says it that same way. I'd love. It's like it's fresh language, and the fact that people were singing it in church, like I wouldn't have thought that. I remember thinking in the moment, no one's gonna sing this in church, and I was wrong.
Look at God.
I had to think about. I was like, because this happens a lot when you write songs. When you're just, a lot of times you're reading scripture and you actually know, like, okay, this is in the scripture. I'm gonna sing about this. But then sometimes you're just singing and things are coming to you, and it's coming to you from like things you've read or learned. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, is that right?
Is that true?
Is that true? Like, am I just singing something that sounds cool, or does that actually theologically sound? And I remember
check the theological box on that.
And I remember when we sang that line, "The cross of salvation was only the start." I was like, okay, what's it? No, I think, no, I think that checks out. Like, I think that,
No, it
I remember
definitely
talking to
makes
my
you think
dad
about it.
right after I sent him our little deal, and I was like, "But Dad, does this checks out, right?" And he's like, "No, that's totally," and he, gave me the off. So I was like, "Okay, awesome." And I love that, like, sometimes people would maybe go back and listen to the lyric, and they're like, "Dude, the lyrics and everything, and just, it's so good and deep." And I know for me in a lot of those moments, I'm like, "Oh, I didn't mean for it to be that deep." It came, looking back, I'm like, "Wow, no, that does have some depth to it."
Like, wow, that was good.
Yeah, I do. I love what you said earlier, because the whole thing started with the core. I wasn't made to be tending a grave. And the called by name, born and raised, and then the second half of that, I felt like, because you saw the first half, that's what you got, and it spoke to you and what you're going through in that season.
Yeah.
And then the second half, I feel like has been my life, is like why would I make a bed in my shame?
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like that's my whole adult life has been like trying to get rid of shame from just well, whatever and I think this, just now when you were talking about that, was like, it made me think of that saying that people say, like, if you're going through hell, keep going.
Keep going.
And like, I was like, that's kind of what, like, I'm not made to be tending this, and I'm not going to make a bed in this. I'm going to actually remember that what the Lord did for me is just the beginning of who I get to be, and just I get to walk with him, and he's going to bring me through it.
'Cause I wasn't made to be tending a grave. I was called by name, born and raised back to life again. I was made for more. So why would I make a bed in my shame when a fountain of grace is running my way? I know I am yours, and I was made for more.
Well, we did the song, and then I had it had the demo for, we've had the demo. We sat on it for like a year and a half.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just at the house, and my kid, I play my songs, and I'll let my wife hear them and let her see if she approves, and the kids do the same thing. And I think what hit me too is that verse. I didn't realize how special it was just for like to hearing my kids sing that song, and just like how it's like, I know who I am because I know who you are, and it's all about identity. And I thought about like how, I know for me in my 40s and social media and everything that I feel like it's telling me all the lies, and I'm thinking about my kids who are 13 and 12 growing up in that and getting all these things thrown at them like, this is who you're supposed to be, or this is who you're not going to be, all this. And to have that truth of like them just seeing the identity of who they are in the Lord over themselves, that I didn't think of it that day when we were writing it, that like that would be something that's powerful, it hits people. And I think too, but I've had people reach out too that like the tending a grave was like, for us, it's like tending like past the regrets, failures, shame, any of that. I've had people reach out and have testimonies of like having just lost loved ones and not being able to get past that or move on from the mourning. And it's like literally been like like the Lord helping them to like, I'm going to help you through this, but like, we're going to move, I'm going to help you move on and not I know, which is crazy. Like, I wouldn't have thought that's what that, that's not even how you got that line
like,
or that.
Great.
So,
I stole it.
Yeah, you stole it. You literally stole it from the scripture.
I literally stole it from the Bible. I'm like thinking too, like one of the things that I think is so that has kind of like accidentally been awesome about this song.
I love accidental awesome.
I love like accidental awesome. I'm like, is this because we were lazy or because it's what the song should have been?
That we don't have a second verse.
We don't have a second verse.
It's because we're lazy.
It's because it's
also
like half because we're lazy and half because we were like, I still need to say anything else. Which is honestly one of the things I love about that. And I love that too, like as a worship leader and someone who's, I've led worship forever. And I feel like whenever I'm writing, I'm always thinking like, is this something I want to lead? Yeah. Is this something that's like easy to lead? Is this something that's easy for people to sing? Like the worst thing is when you go to church and you're just like reading 1,000 words. Right. And you can't keep up and so much info. But that's one of the things that was like accidentally awesome is because we wrote that verse and then we were like going to go to maybe get into the second verse and
we didn't have time. I
don't think we had time. And we were all kind of like, what if it was just that verse? And I think too, like, it was just like, we've sort of said everything we want to say, which is what I like. That's one of the things I love about it.
And I didn't, so some of that happened because I have the original, and we have the recording of that day when we sang it. And the funny thing is I listened back to the recording and I'm playing guitar, but I'm not even singing on it. It's mostly you singing and Blake and
John.
Yeah. And then
Jonathan.
And I know we go through the verse and the chorus and then we go back to the verse thinking this is where the second verse will be. And it was just like blank. It's like, and you're like kind of humming the melody. So, and then you just halfway through just go back to singing the first verse.
Sing the first verse.
And then we didn't have, we kind of have what we thought might be the bridge. But I remember, and this is just like some practical, like, I left that day thinking, this song's great. But it always was like your song. It just felt, because you brought it and your voice was on it that whole day. Even the key that we wrote it in, it like fit, it was like the key I think you sang in it. And so like, I just thought to myself, this is a sweet song. And then even the next day you shared it with the group and you sang it because I had to leave. And I remember telling even some of the other guys, I was like, gosh, Jessie, this is such a beautiful song. Like she sounds so great singing it. So and then Jonathan was doing the demo for it. And we lived close to each other and he was just like, can you come over? I need to get this out to, to turn in. Can you come sing the demo? And I was like, yeah, I'll come sing it. And I remember then I'm singing it. And I was like, this is so low. Like the first part's low. And then I remember telling John, I was like, Jonathan, we didn't even write a second verse. Like, what do you want me to do? And he was like, just sing the first verse low. And then can you like jump it and try to sing it high? And I was like, I'll have to change the melody a little bit because I can't hit that high note. And I literally just sang that verse again until we found another verse. And then I remember it was just me and him in the studio, and I sang it through, and that was when I was like, oh, I'm supposed to sing this song. I'm supposed to carry this song. And like, that was when it hit me like, and we don't need another verse. Like this is, because there's something even to, which is another accident. It's not like I thought this through. I just was like, I'm going to sing it low and I'm going to sing it high. But thinking back, it's like the first half of it is like, almost like kind of convincing myself, like I know who I am. It's like it's low. I was admit. And then the second part is like, now I'm proclaiming it with confidence. Yeah. Like I know, and I just, so good. That wasn't like thought through, but it just like happened, and I love that.
And your voice is nuts.
Thank you.
So good.
Gosh, thank you. So and I did it in your key too, which is really my key too. Everything I write is in C, the key of C, the Lord's key.
The Lord's key.
It is. This is the key.
I know who I am, 'cause I know who you are. The cross of salvation was only the start. Now I am chosen, free and forgiven, and I have a future, and it's worth the living.
First, we should talk about, this is how, and I love telling the story, like doing writers' rounds.
Oh, yeah.
How, because when you're doing a writer's round, you're for those of you, writers' rounds, or when we get in really, it's a round of writers talking about their songs, telling you song stories in a circle to a crowd, to an audience, and then singing them. And it makes you look as if you're like a really amazing songwriter that knows what they're doing. And so it's fun to tell the story because we're
just some hooligans.
No, really,
here.
Accidentally awesome sometimes.
Accidentally awesome.
But really,
truly. That
day we were writing this, I remember being the one person I kept fighting with everybody, trying to tell them like, no, I wasn't made to be tending your. I was like, that's a verse. Like that's the verse, and then we need to just write a chorus now and I remember Jonathan's like, dude, that should be the chorus. And I was like, there's too many words.
We put it to a vote.
Yeah, and it was like 3-1, out, big time outnumbered. And I was like, I kept thinking that this verse or this chorus is too many words. We're supposed to be here writing songs for the church. No church is going to sing this song.
No church is going to sing this.
That's how little I know. I'm an idiot. Anyway.
The bridge, though, was like a whole thing because I feel like we had this, all of the bridge, and we had to change. There was one line that we wanted to change, and you were at worship school for Bethel, and we got a group text. It's the group text. So the group text starts going off with like, Josh is at
and this is school. Almost a year later. We've sat on this song for a year. I was at worship school at Bethel, and I was going to lead this song.
I'm going to lead it.
But we needed to finish the bridge.
We have to fix the bridge.
Yeah. Oh, because do you remember the line we had? It was, because it's, hallelujah. You scattered my sins from the east to the west, which sounds cool.
Sounds so cool.
You scattered my sins from the east to the west.
But it is not true.
But it's, I remember one of the pastors at Bethel was like, so, it's actually, he removed them as far as the east is from it. And what we're saying was kind of like he took my sins and just scattered them all about from the east. Some are over here on the east, some are on the west.
So we changed.
So we're like, oh, I can't sing that. And this is really the night before.
You knew that though. Like the first day we left, you were like, I don't think that line's right. And we were all we're like,
so we did have you buried my past. I'm not going back. And we knew that needed to stay. And I remember we needed something else to sing. And it was like all day into the night. I'm literally going to sing it that next morning.
We're all
and we need to like
firing
go in.
Off.
What's the line?
Firing off.
Hallelujah.
The amount of voice memos that came in.
Oh yeah.
And then all of us trying.
We got close to it. You called out my name or something, but then I think Blake was the one that sent it through. You called out my name. I'll sing out your praise.
Blake comes. Blake is just he's a closer.
Yeah. And I remember, so we did that, and the next day, I led it that morning at the worship school, which now Bethel Worship School is like, you can lead anything. I can make up a song right now, go to Bethel Worship School and lead it, and it'd probably be awesome. And it won't be it's not about the song. It's just that it's a room full of worship leaders, and they're just going for it. But I was about to lead it, and I remember that morning we were practicing the song, because this feels like, this is just, musically speaking, but it feels like so much a part of the song now.
Yeah.
I remember, so the guys in the band, David Whitworth actually, was like, dude, what do you think about when we come out of that bridge and we go back into the chorus, if like just all the music drops out and it's just you and the voices? And I was like, initially I was like, that sounds cool, but they don't know the song. Like, that feels like, that sounds cool like a year or two from now, if the song's doing well. And like, it's really awesome now when I do it.
Sounds cool now.
Because everyone sings. But in that moment, I'm like, dude, this is the first time they'll have ever heard this song. I don't want to just be naked up there by myself singing the chorus and acting like it's this big anthem. Because that's what it felt like. I'm like, this is the first time I'm leading, and you want the music to stop, and I'm like shouting this out like it. And he was like, no, I think it's gonna be cool. And it like worked. I have a video of it that Sheila took, because she's like, this is the first time it's ever been done. And in that moment, literally, this is the first time we're singing it. We break, and it was just the drums, and and the whole place is singing it. And that was like when I was like, okay, first of all, I was wrong. This is a chorus.
First and foremost.
First of all, I don't know what I'm talking about. Second, this is like the church not only needs it, it's like something that's gonna be very easy to just grab onto and like sing. And so I love that. And it just kind of, that's like part of, like, I can't do the song now and not have that part, have that in it, which is cool. Because even the way when we wrote it, when we were just like playing it like this, you don't think that like the biggest part of the song is going to be this like massive song break that's like bah, bah, bah.
I'm so good.
But it again, just so like kind of, it solidifies like the I don't know, just like that proclamation kind of thing of declaring like the more that we are made for.
Made for more.
That we are made for more.
In fact,
subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe.
Made for more. You heard it here. Yeah. You heard it here first. We're into the gospel first.
No, when I think about this song and just in the context of worship, Sunday morning at your church, I've said it. I didn't initially think it would fit into that world, fit into just like Sunday morning worship kind of thing. But and I think because I'm like, in corporate worship, I'm like, let's get our eyes off of ourselves, and I want to high praise and 100%. Look to the Lord. And so my natural thing is like, oh, this song is just like I wasn't made, I wasn't this, I'm this, I was made for and this. I was like, oh wait, is this too much of like singing about me when we're really pointing this toward? But I realize it is like very much like David in the Psalms, and it's like it's me like calling myself up to and reminding myself of who I am in Christ, and it's not just like it's not reminding myself in the way that like this is what I've done, this is who I am, but it's like, no, this is who I am because of who you are, and because of what you did. So it is a thing of like, I'm giving you glory for all you've done, and because of that, I'm reminding myself that I was made for this, and this is just the beginning of who you've called me to, and I think, and that's why I think it is like such a needed song for worship, and even just practically, like I love. I kind of accidentally one time leading it at church went into gratitude, which everyone does now. You should do as you should. But it even fit. It didn't just fit just because it was like a 6/8 worship song. It fit because it was like I'm coming out of like I was made for more. So come on, my soul.
So good.
And it like in the moment I just did it because it was like the same. It just fit, and it was like musically it fit. And we can go to another place. But then realizing in the middle of singing, like, this actually works just even like context and lyrically, like, okay, so now because of that, come on, don't get shy, lift up your voice and let's worship the Lord. And I love that. That part made our song come to life even more and made it even make more sense to me too.
Oh, yeah.
And it is very Davidic in the Psalms and just in what it's saying. But
I think what I love about it, just for worship leaders, is that, I don't know, I feel like whenever, that camp, what's in the back of your mind is we're writing songs for church.
Yeah.
We're writing songs for people, for their congregations, for people to sing on Sunday mornings. And I love that it's almost like having a tool or a weapon or something. It's like a weapon you can sort of wield over yourself when you need to, or having just practically like having a tool that's like, I can use this song as a vehicle to, I don't know, it's like a vehicle for the gospel story. It's a vehicle to give people language to identity. And that's, I don't know, it's just practically, I'm like, when you're saying, it's so many things that are about like, I, and we're all kind of like, oh, we just want to get to the like high praise thing, like get our eyes off of ourselves. That identity really is a huge piece. And I feel like this is such a good tool to kind of help people, give people language to their identity in Christ.
Have we ever actually, we sang this together?
We did one time.
We did
yeah.
one time. I'm singing low though. We're not,
that's fine.
We're not yelling today.
We don't have to yell.
Do you want to say the verse or you want me to say the verse? Or are we doing it again?
You should sing it.
Okay.
You should sing the verse.
I know who I am, 'cause I know who you are. The cross of salvation was only the start. Now I am chosen, free and forgiven. I have a future, and it's worth the living. 'Cause I wasn't made to be pinned in a grave. I was called by name, born and raised back to life again. I was made for you. So why would I make a bed in my shame when a fountain of grace is running my way out into my hands? I was made for more.
Good job.
Thanks.
Sound great.